I see a lot of patients who genuinely want to lose weight, and I think that is awesome. Usually we focus in on the one thing that they brought to the table, we make a plan, and then we move on. That is until last week. Patient looked me dead in the eye and said, "Doc, I really want to lose weight, but I have no idea what to do." And I thought to myself, well, it's such a vague but important question that I actually lost sleep thinking about how would I explain this to the next person that asked me that. That being said, it is something super important that we should talk about, so here are my 2 favorite ways to start a weight loss journey if you're just starting. Oh, you probably want credentials. Hang on. Doctor? Yes, as the name in this channel suggests, my name is Mike. I'm an internal medicine doctor. I'm also an ISSA certified personal trainer, and I used to look like this. 6'2", 285 pounds, 42-inch waist. 18 months later, you see kind of what I look like now. I lost 90 pounds. Over the last 7 years, I fell in love with the weight room and gained 15, 20 pounds, but I still have the 32-inch waist that I had when I weighed 195 pounds. Okay, let's jump in and stay till the end because there's 2 things that I really need you to notice. Maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't, but you can never out-exercise a bad diet. Listen, I would love to just crush ribs and donuts and spend 6 hours a day in the gym and be shredded all the time, but not how that works. Therefore, these 2 tips will be about diet. Diet is not just some temporary thing that you follow for 6, 8, 12 weeks, however temporary, and then you lose a bunch of weight to get to some magical arbitrary number on the scale, only to revert back to your previous habits and then gain the weight back, and generally a little bit more after that. To me, diet is all of the food and drink you put inside yourself to continue to be an existing human being. The common thing to say to somebody trying to lose weight is, yeah, eat less. Yeah, thanks. How about something we can actually use? The first tip I have if you're starting off your weight loss journey is think about something called caloric density. Listen, if you're anything like me, you don't have that magic off button that some people have. If you're like me, you will often, almost always, eat until you're like actually sick. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. If that's you, that's fine. What you might do is try to increase the volume of not so calorically dense foods. All right, Mike, English? Of all 3 macronutrients, fat, protein, and carbohydrates, fats have the highest caloric density. Essentially, 1 gram of fat yields 9 calories. Protein, carbohydrates, that number is 4. In different words, the amount of fat you need to consume to get to 100 calories, let's say, is about the weight of 2 nickels. Not a lot. On the other side, like I said, protein, carbohydrates, 4 calories per gram, like the weight of a small light bulb. Getting better, but Maybe some of you have sensed that I'm hinting vegetables will give you a lot more volume without a lot more calories. And if you haven't, vegetables will give you a lot more volume without a lot more calories. Just like a quick example on my MyFitnessPal, 3 cups of green beans is 90 calories. Yeah, that's it. Most serving bowls can't hold 3 cups of anything, much less 3 cups of green beans. It's a lot. It's a lot of cellulose and water and little trace carbohydrates and trace proteins, but it's a lot of volume. Like 3 cups is a lot of stuff. If you have access and the ability to add vegetables to whatever you're eating now, I think it's a terrific place to start. You're not eliminating anything from your diet. You're not restricting yourself. All you are is adding more volume of calorically not so dense foods. So if you add that volume, you're probably gonna eat less of the other stuff, which has more calories in it. You haven't really changed much, but you're eating less of the other stuff and more of the stuff that doesn't have a ton of calories in it. Good place to start. And if you like that first tip, maybe hit that subscribe button, please. The second way I like to get people started on their weight loss journey is limiting the amount of calories they have at night, but let's get something super clear. I am not saying, and I will never say, if you eat after a certain point of the day, you will gain weight. If you are someone who is 400 pounds and you consume 2,000 calories between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m., and that's all you eat during the day, you will lose weight, you will be in a caloric deficit. That's how that works. That's not what I mean. What I am getting at here is, and again, been there, done that, got that t-shirt too, is kind of what your mind is doing that late at night. We've all been there, probably. Get home from work, tired, stressed, go have some dinner and relax for a minute, and then it's like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll go get a snack. At this point of being tired and stressed, our willpower is like almost zero. Our brain shuts off, the mouth opens, and then all of a sudden, all that food is gone. Again, been there, you would be staggered to find out how quickly a sleeve of Oreos just disappears in my house. So just stop eating, right? Yeah. Thanks. I need systems in my life to be healthy. I can't have a bunch of food in my house or just give myself an arbitrary rule. I won't follow it. I am a very weak man. If this is also you, there are two ways to combat this, and the second one is my favorite, but the first one is to give yourself a time cutoff, or just don't eat after dinner. If you're in healthcare or work an otherwise unpredictable job, yeah, if you don't have dinner until 8:30, but your time cutoff was 8, then you don't get dinner for that night, and I don't love that. But if you're somebody with a routine 9 to 5, dinner is always at 6, maybe setting that time, not a bad idea. Or maybe setting after dinner, okay, off limits. But again, it's not that food that's causing you to lose weight, it's excess calories. And how do I know it's gonna be excess calories? Again, brain turns off, mouth open, shovel food, have the experience. Those are likely calories that you probably don't need. Caveat coming soon. But first, the second way that I do this, and my favorite way, is midday on the weekend when I am rested and I am motivated and I'm not hungry. Very important to not be hungry. I go through my house and I look, okay, which ones of these foods could I possibly just shut my brain off and eat? And more importantly, which ones of these foods could I shut my brain off, eat, and then regret the next day? And then I throw them out. So if I don't have those in my house, I won't eat them most of the time, and that is a perfect segue into the caveat. I generally like to say this works 9 out of 10 times, because that one time you're gonna be willing to put on socks and shoes, get in your car, and drive somewhere to get something, and please do that if that's the case. If you save yourself 1,000 calories, 9 days out of 10, that's 9,000 calories. That's like 3 pounds you just didn't have. Over-restriction is not helpful. Over-restriction will likely have you doing perfectly for a few days and then kind of falling off after that and regaining the losses that you had in those perfect few days. Not ideal. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to develop habits that will last decades from now. That's the whole purpose of a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet. Again, not a short-term thing, a forever thing. I would rather you be good most of the time than perfect for some time, because good most of the time is what builds those habits for the next couple of decades. Now, before we end this video, here are the 2 things that I hope you noticed. The first of which, I didn't tell you that you can never eat a particular food. Like if you have allergies, that's kind of a different story, but I never told you that you couldn't eat anything. There's no such thing as a bad food, despite what some Instagram health guru will tell you selling diarrhea tea. Sure, some foods have more nutritional value than others. We can all probably agree that an apple is better for you than a candy bar. Candy bar is not necessarily, and by definition, evil. Let's put it a different way. It's a lot easier to get 5,000 calories of candy than it is 5,000 calories of broccoli. I actually don't know what 5,000 calories of broccoli looks like. I figured it out. So to get to 5,000 calories of broccoli, you would need 14.3 kilograms worth of broccoli. That is 31.5 pounds of broccoli to get to 5,000 calories. That's a lot of calories. That's a lot of broccoli. Unless you're over, let's say, like 450 pounds-ish, if you eat 5,000 calories a day, no matter what those calories are, you will gain weight. I guess unless you just ran a triathlon, but that's not what we're talking about here. So exactly what food matters a little bit less than how much. It still matters. I still want you to get your micronutrients in there, but there's no such thing as a bad food. The second thing is this. Did you notice how I didn't tell you to follow a particular fad diet? It's because I didn't, and I never will. The diet of any one individual may be completely different than the diet of a different individual at the same part of the same journey. All sorts of things go into it. Things like education levels, do you have the proper cooking utensils, family life. Listen, I don't have kids, but I can only imagine that it's a lot easier to keep candy out of the house if you don't have kids than if you do have kids. Your support system, your socioeconomic status, and all sorts of things that I didn't mention. It will never be a one-size-fits-all thing. It is never the fad diets. Listen, if you want to try them, I'm not at your house. Go right ahead. But I'll never recommend them because I really don't want to do them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please drop a comment down below. Maybe a question or some struggles that you've been facing, maybe a roadblock or two. And if you want to see more of these chats and maybe what a healthy lifestyle looks like in my eyes, hit the sub button. Till then, I'll see you in the next video.